Hey guys, what's going on? It's Alex Vanover back with DIY Alex, and today I'm going to be talking to you about the Starcraft Mint Heat Press, and we're going to do a foil project together. So I'm super excited to get started with you. So if you can let me know if you can hear me okay and see me okay, that would be amazing. Give me just a hot second. I'm going to make sure that everything looks good on my end, and then we will get started. Hey Kayla, happy hump day to you too. I know this is kind of an unusual day for going live for me, but I'm so excited about the Starcraft Mint Heat Press. I just couldn't wait to show you guys why I love it and why I think it's the best press basically ever. So let me know, I'm not using a microphone, so let me know if you can hear me okay or if the echo is kind of bad. I do have a microphone over here in case we need it. So let me know. Hang on guys, I'm gonna grab all my stuff from over here. Hey, Aunt Vina's Gifts, how are you? Hi, Sky. Good, good. Okay, you guys know I don't really have any problems with speaking loudly, so that's usually not an issue. Thanks, Irma. So this is the foil shirt that I made yesterday. In case you guys saw I shared it on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook, several places. This is the foil shirt that I made, and I'm gonna be using a new roll of foil that I bought for today's project, and I'm so excited. Hello, hello. I'm so glad you guys are here. Oh, Angela's from Philly. Very cool, Angela. Welcome. Yes, Kayla has the Mint Heat Press too, and she loves it. And you guys, this is a really big deal. If you guys have not been around for real long, 143 Vinyl is where I got my heat press from, and they are kind of hard to come by. So that's another reason why I needed to make sure you guys knew about this, because it's a really big deal. Thanks, Irma. I know, I just love this butterfly. This butterfly is from Design Space. So if you guys are interested in that image, just type in floral butterfly and I'm sure it will just be there. I looked through several different images. I was looking for something that had a little bit of a wow factor, but I will tell you, trying to weed the Easyweed Adhesive that's totally clear, that was kind of challenging. So that's why I have a desk lamp over here today, because that's what I'm going to be using to weed the pineapple. You guys will recognize this pineapple from when I did, I put out the TikTok about the oh no when you forget to mirror. I cut this whole thing without mirroring it the first time, and I was so disappointed because it is a ton of HTV that I totally wasted. So I recut it and I'm excited to weed it today. Good. Okay, well, let's get started. So the first part of this live is just gonna be me crafting like usual, all that good kind of stuff. And then I'm gonna move over to my Mint Heat Press. So I'm hoping that we don't have any technical issues. I've never done a live where I'm like moving around. So I've got a couple different camera angles for us, and we're just gonna hope for the best. You know what I mean? That's what we're gonna work with. So I don't have an overhead view for you, but I'm gonna be weeding this Easyweed Adhesive. So you should be able to see it on the table a little bit. Hey, Irma. Oh, Irma's making a card today. That's awesome. I love that. Oh, Irma, I didn't know you were from Southern California. That's awesome. Very cool. It's a beautiful day here today in Louisville, Kentucky. It's like 78 degrees, so like not crazy hot. I actually ate my lunch outside today. That's what I like to do when the weather is nice. And I've got my heat press heating up over there, so it does get a little hot in here. You guys will never notice because you're not here. But it will definitely get warm in this room. So I've got the air conditioning turned on because it will get pretty warm. The heat press is very powerful. So the first thing I'm going to show you guys is that I like to use a desk lamp. I bought this desk lamp at Walmart. It's just a basic desk lamp, but I did put a daylight light bulb in it. So it definitely has a whiter, brighter light than the normal light bulbs that come in this lamp. And that's what I use when I'm weeding and when I'm over at my desk. That's how I make sure that I can see the cut lines. So hopefully that doesn't hurt your guys' eyes too much. It doesn't look like it's too bad on the screen, but that really helps illuminate the cut lines for me. So I'm gonna get started weeding this guy, and this is just Caesar Easyweed Adhesive HTV. You cut it just like you do any other kind of regular HTV. You cut it mirrored on your Cricut, nothing different about it. So let me know in the comments if you guys have ever worked with foil, or if you have a heat press. Do you have the Starcraft Mint Heat Press? Do you have a different kind of heat press? Let me know where you're at in the comments. And then when we get over to the heat press, I'm going to talk to you guys about why I love this heat press and why I genuinely think it's the best on the market. I don't want to start giving you the features without being over there because I don't think it'll make a lot of sense to you. But I'm going to show you guys firsthand why I love this heat press so much. I actually worked at 143 Vinyl when Starcraft launched these, and so I got one of the first ones that came into the 143 Vinyl warehouse. I had been waiting months because I knew that Starcraft was developing a heat press, and that was one of the most exciting days of my entire job at 143 was the day that we got to launch the heat presses. It was so much fun. And I brought it home right away and started using it. So I've had one basically since these have been on the market. So I guess I started there in August of 2018. So it would have been sometime, I think it might have been like March of 2019 when these came out. And so I've had mine ever since. And I've had absolutely no problems with it. I know that it does come with a 1-year warranty from Starcraft. So if you have any problems, you can contact 143 if you buy it from 143. And they can help you get that figured out. I cut this kind of jagged and now there's little pieces of adhesive. So on the foil side of things, if you guys have never worked with Starcraft foil before, this adhesive works really, really well. And if you leave any on the carrier sheet, it will totally stick in those spots. So you got to get any little piece that you see, including like little scrap weeded pieces, off of your carrier sheet. I cut the bottom of this kind of rough, so some of the spots got caught. Sky said, I have the mint, but I haven't used it yet. I've attempted it once on my screen print transfer and it didn't release. So I set it aside. I've been afraid to use it again. Oh my gosh, Sky, I wonder why. You know, I have to say, I have not used any of the screen printing transfers. So that I cannot help you with. But I promise the Starcraft Mint Heat Press is so easy to use. So as a crafter, since I used to work at 143 Vinyl, I have used a ton of different brands of heat presses, which is kind of unusual, right, for most crafters, because normally you'd have to own multiple brands in order to try it. But because I worked there and we had, well, I don't want to drop any brand names because I don't want to talk poorly about any of the other brands, but we owned lots of other heat presses that we used to recommend before the Starcraft one was an option. And I genuinely believe that the Starcraft heat presses are the best on the market. That is my personal opinion, and I'll show you guys why that is when we get over there. But any of them, whether it's the, I have the Mint Heat Press, which is the clamshell. There's also a turquoise swing away heat press. And there's also the one that I can't even remember. I think they call it just like the red and black heat press. We call it the Mac Daddy when I worked there. So I don't even know what its official name is. But it's like a 16 by 20 swing away that has one of the plates that slides out. And that baby is no joke. Lori said, I love my Starcraft heat press so much. I picked one up for my daughter. That's awesome, Lori. I know, it's like the best gift that you can give, seriously, because it's so high quality, especially if you guys have used other ones. I've experienced issues with, let's see, I have had other heat presses like lift up in the back while I'm using it with really heavy pressure. So I've had them like the back of it pop up, and I'll show you why the Starcraft heat press will never do that. I've had trouble using the LCD screen because I think a lot of times if they're not high quality enough, they can be really hard to read. I've just had all different kinds of experiences with different brands. And that's why I love promoting this heat press genuinely, because I just think that it is such high quality. You are least likely to ever have any problems. And of course, your projects may not go perfectly, but of course, you guys know that's no reflection of the heat press. That's our own user error sometimes coming into the picture, which I have totally been there before. Absolutely. But as far as high quality heat presses go, this is a really big deal. And it's also not in stock very often. Typically when 143 gets these, they don't last very long. I did talk to them and I know that they do have more than they usually do. And by the way, if you guys are watching the replay, it's June 16th, right? Yeah, June 16th is when they restocked them. So I don't know when you're watching this if they will be in stock, but you can find the link to the heat press in the description if you're interested in shopping it. And you guys can use my code ALEX5 to save 5% on the heat press as well. So make sure you keep that in mind if you decide to shop it. I feel like I could I feel like I'm like selling it on QVC or something, but I am that passionate about this heat press. When I saw the announcement this morning that they were back in stock, I was like, oh no, we got to do something big about this. Angela said she has a Cricut Easy Press. Not sure if I can use a heat press due to voltage. Good question, Angela. So I don't remember the exact numbers, but I use my Starcraft Mint heat press in a regular outlet. There's nothing fancy that I do. I do typically keep it unplugged when I'm not using it, if I remember to, just because I think that it's a good idea. But you don't have to do that. And I don't have anything else in my outlet. It's the only thing that I have plugged into that outlet. So that's kind of the way that I treat it, but I don't do anything else special other than that. Also, let me know in the comments if you guys have ever worked with Starcraft foil before. I am obsessed with Starcraft foil. I'm actually going to include, when I film my monthly content this month, I'm going to include a edited foil tutorial for you guys, because I have a live one that I did a long time ago, but I feel like I need a new updated one. So I'm going to be showing you guys how to do this edited and more quickly here really soon. All right, so that was pretty easy to weed. This is my pineapple. I don't know how well you all can see it. Oh yeah, you can see it really well. It says Aloha Summer through it. And I'm gonna be using the, is it pink and orange? I think it's called pink and orange tie-dye foil, but you guys look how pretty this is. This is so stinking cool. Like, look how beautiful that's gonna be. And I'm using it on a like dark gray shirt. I had a little bit of a hard time picking a color for this. So I chose like this color because I don't have a ton of stock here at home, but I think these are gonna look really, really good together. Okay, so now that my Caesar Easyweed Adhesive HTV is cut, I'm gonna take you guys over to the heat press. And I'm gonna take my iPad with me so that I can see your comments. Or so that I can switch camera angles, but let me know at any point if you guys can't hear me anymore. I'm gonna have to take a second and like move my laptop over near my heat press too so that I can see your guys' comments, but just drop a comment if you can't hear me or if something happens. Kayla said, the only complaint I have is how long it takes to heat up, but I'm pretty sure it's typical for all heat presses. I'm just impatient. Yeah, Kayla, honestly, I think this one heats up faster than most because it does have a lot of power. Like, there's no doubt about it. In fact, it makes my lights not flicker, but I don't think you guys can see it on the camera, but like the lights in my ceiling fan do like pulse a little bit when I have it plugged in and it's completely heated up. So it does have a lot of power, but I think that compared to the other heat presses I have used, the Starcraft Mint heat press is actually pretty fast to heat up. Oh, Irma said she has the Cricut foil iron-on and hasn't used it. Yeah, Irma, this is the Starcraft foil, so it's actually a little bit different than like a one-step foil, like Cricut's foil or even Caesar's foil. This is totally different. It just takes, it's a two-step foil, which is not hard to deal with. You use the Caesar Easyweed Adhesive HTV, and then you add the foil over it as a second layer. So I'm gonna show you how I do that when I go over there. Okay guys, give me just a second. I'm gonna move my iPad and my laptop over to the heat press table. It might take me a second to get set up, and then I'm gonna talk to you about the heat press, and then we will press this project, okay? So just a second. All right, hi guys, we're over at my heat press camera and I've got your comments a little bit far away from me, but hopefully it'll still work. So let me know in the comments if you can still hear me okay and see me okay. Kayla said she blew a fuse with hers once because she forgot to turn off a space heater. Yeah, and a space heater, a lot like a heat press, does take up a lot of space. So that makes a lot of sense that that blew your fuse, Kayla. I have never blown a fuse with mine, but from the very beginning, I've always been super careful about making sure it's the only thing in the room, or the only thing plugged into the outlet. And I do try to turn things off generally when I'm using it, but you know, blowing a fuse is no big deal. All right, so let's talk about some features of the Starcraft Mint heat press and why I think it's so special, because I know you guys hear me preach about it and you're like, okay, Alex, what the heck? Now, it is a little bit more of an expensive press, no doubt about it. Right now, it retails for basically $350, but like I said, you can use the code ALEX5 in all caps to save 5% on the press, and I think it's worth it, so let me tell you why. First of all, obviously, I love the color. The color is a really, really beautiful mint color. I absolutely adore that. This is a clamshell style press, and what that means is that it goes straight down and straight back up, and that's the way that it works, versus a swing away. The arm swings up, and then the platen swings all the way off to the side. And the upper platen, in case you guys have not worked with heat presses before, the upper platen is the area that gets hot and the bottom area does not get hot. So it does have this pad on it to help absorb some of the heat and keep things even, but this bottom area you can work on because it does not get hot. So another feature that I really love about this press, and I'm not going to be able to show it to you because I don't want anything crazy to happen, but the bottom of the heat press actually has 4 suction cups on it, so that when you're using really, really high pressure, say when you're applying Caesar Stretch HTV or Starcraft for light materials, the printable transfers for lights that require really, really heavy pressure. What sometimes happens if the heat press doesn't have suction cups is that when the heat press is closed and you've got it closed with really heavy pressure and you use a lot of force to open it back up, I've had the back of heat presses, what I call pop a wheelie on me, and literally the whole back of the heat press has popped up in the back, and it's absolutely terrifying. So I really, really like the suction cups underneath this one, and they're actually super strong. I don't think you guys can see them on my table. Actually, I'm gonna take you off the, oh, I'm so sorry, bumped the camera. But I'm gonna take you guys around so I can show you some of the features. If you look at this circle right here, that's actually originally from the heat press because the suction cups are so strong, they literally pulled paint off of my table. So they're underneath there, you just can't see them. The suction cups are underneath there. So let's take a look at the LCD screen, because this is another reason why I think this press is so high quality. The LCD screen is super duper clear. On some other brands that I've used, it's honestly hard to tell what the numbers say. If you look at it from the side, it can be really, really hard to see. It's also really simple to control. So if you just push the settings button, the first setting is temperature. If you push it again, the second setting is time, and then there's arrow buttons here to there's arrow buttons there to move the, the controls up and down, and then there's a clear button. If you press the settings button again, you get to the screen where you can tell it Fahrenheit or Celsius. And then lastly, P4 is the auto off timer. So that's how long you want your press to sit without any of the presses going, and it will idle turn itself off automatically, which is a feature that I have not seen in any other heat press that I'm aware of. But I really, really love that feature. And all you need to do to reactivate it is just press the handle down, and that will restart the timer. But you can set that timer up to 60 minutes. So if your press is unused for like up to 60 minutes, it will turn itself off and you won't have to worry about doing it yourself. So that's the way that the controls work. Super, super simple. There's the off switch on the right-hand side. Another reason why I think this press is really high quality is because this handle piece is one continuous piece. There are no welding seams at all in this piece. Some other heat presses that I know of, if you use them for years and years, after a while, at a certain point, the welded seams can actually come apart and part of your handle can break off. So I really, really like just the quality of it. It's super heavy. It's like 50 pounds or something like that. And it's super heavy duty, and I love that about it. The pressure knob is back here. So you just turn it lefty-loosey to loosen the pressure and righty-tighty to tighten it up. Yes, I still have to say lefty-loosey and righty-tighty out loud when I tighten up the pressure. So yeah, that's one of the things I love about it. I love how big the platen is, because it's kind of challenging to find a 15 by 15 platen heat press. So you can put pretty much any shirt size on here and you're gonna be able to cover the design in all one press. You guys can also see that I use a Teflon sheet with magnets on the top, and I keep that attached to my heat press at all times. That does not come with a heat press, but I highly recommend you doing that. The magnets are really hot, so I can't take it off now. But it just makes it really, really easy for me to remember because I never have to think about whether or not there's Teflon on my press or not. And for example, yesterday when I was making this butterfly shirt, I was testing the pressure for the foil because the foil has to have medium to firm pressure, and this shirt was on the platen just laying here without the carrier sheet on, and I actually did stick my shirt to my Teflon sheet. So it does still happen. Even to crafters like me who've been using heat presses for a long time, we still sometimes mess it up and definitely need the protection of that Teflon sheet. I have definitely at 143 stuck some shirts to the top of a platen that did not have a Teflon sheet on it and had to clean the top of the press off. So it can really be a pain. It's a real thing and it really does happen. So that was a lot of talking. My laptop is right behind me. Let me check the comments and see if I can answer any questions for you guys. Oh yeah, Roseanne says, I have been checking for the Starcraft heat press daily. I want one too. Do you love it? I absolutely love it. That is why I am preaching on this live, Roseanne, because I love it so much. Melissa said, I have a second-hand one, not sure of the name. My cat just decided to scratch it up. Oh no, I'm so sorry. She also has a Cricut heat press. Yeah, and as you guys can see, I have a Cricut Easy Press as well. And I don't think anything poorly of the Cricut Easy Press. I think that with things, especially like projects like foil, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do this project with you guys, that, you know, there is some limitations to the Cricut Easy Press because it doesn't have the manual pressure, or you have to apply the pressure manually. You can't utilize the heat press for that. It has its limitations, but I use mine frequently for small projects or quick things, but a heat press definitely has its place. And part of the reason why foil can be challenging with an easy press is because the actual foil itself needs medium to firm pressure. So that's why I always use my heat press whenever I make anything foil related. The adhesive itself just needs regular medium pressure, which is really easy to do with whether that's an easy press or something else. But with the heat press, or I always recommend using a heat press with the foil if you can help it. Okay, so let me know if you guys have any questions about the heat press in the comments. You can find the link to the heat press in my description of my video if you'd like to grab it or take a look at it on 143's website. Remember that you can use the code ALEX5 to save 5% on it if you'd like. And of course, you guys never have to use my affiliate links, but the link in my description is an affiliate link, so I receive some of the commission from your sale at no extra cost to you if you decide to use it. So let's go ahead and press this shirt. Now this one I may actually have to press in two parts. I was just telling you all how I normally never have to do that because this is such a big platen. But because this design is like exactly 15 inches tall, because it's so, see, I made it pretty large because I wanted to be able to see the foil really well. So I may have to actually press this one in a couple parts. We'll see how it fits on here. So I am actually, you know what guys, I'm gonna grab my t-shirt ruler. I've got that across my room, so give me just a second. I'm gonna grab that so that I can measure my, that I can make sure to measure 3 inches down for my shirt design. But I'll go ahead and pre-press this real quick. You're gonna see it shakes my table a little bit, so sorry about that. Because the pressure's on a little bit high. All right, so wrinkles are pressed out. Give me just a second. I'm gonna grab my shirt ruler and I'll be right back. Where's the adult one? Yeah, there it is. So if you guys have never seen these, they're really popular right now on like Amazon. This is a plastic one and that's why I like it. You can get the SVG files to cut them out of paper, but I really like using these because I can stick my carrier sheet to it and it doesn't rip. And it just helps me know that my design is centered and exactly 3 inches down from the collar. And I have one that has like a regular collar, but you can actually get these in the V-neck shape too if you're using V-neck shirts. So I just like to line mine up right here in the center. And I usually like to center the center arrow with my tag. And the tag is not always perfectly center, but that's close enough. And then I'll stick my pineapple. And since this design doesn't start for like a little bit low, I will probably break the rules a bit and put my pineapple up a little bit higher. That way the pineapple's like not right on the stomach of the shirt. It's not the greatest placement. Oh, whoops, hang on. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna break the rules a little bit. I like to use the t-shirt ruler, but I also kind of do my own thing with it too. So once I have this placed, I can remove the shirt ruler here. And like I said, I'm gonna have to move it up quite a bit. I see a couple comments there. Yay, that's exciting. Kayla's t-shirt rulers will be here tomorrow. You cut curved arrows out of adhesive vinyl for pressure adjustments. Left is green and right is red. Oh, that's a great idea, Angela. I should try that. Yeah, that's a great idea because I literally have to say to myself, lefty loosey, righty tighty, whenever I'm working on my pressure knob. And so it cracks me up. Okay, looks pretty centered to me, I think. All right, let's take a look, you guys. What do you think? Fairly centered? I know you can't see the whole thing. So I'm not helping myself out too much. Let me move that foil and I'll show you guys. What do you think? Pretty close? Let me know in the comments. So you guys have probably seen my occasional confessions. Shirts are not one of my favorite crafts to make, ironically. I like working with HTV in lots of different capacities, but shirts are not my favorite thing to make. I always get really nervous that my stuff's gonna be off center, and that's why I started using the t-shirt rulers actually, because I just really liked knowing that having kind of a second set of eyes almost on my shirt makes me feel so much better. What do you guys think? Angela said, looks good to her. Good, good. Hey, Kathy joined me. We were joking about being shopping buddies because I will be your worst shopping buddy because I'll tell you to buy everything. Because I'm always shopping at the Target dollar spot. Okay, so we're going to start by pressing this for 5 seconds. This is just the Caesar Easyweed Adhesive HTV. And then we'll add the foil over top. So step 1 is to tack this down for 5 seconds. Then we'll let it cool for just a second and I'll pull the carrier sheet off. And then something that really confuses a lot of newbies is that you don't weed or cut anything off of the foil. You actually just lay a full piece over top of all of the adhesive HTV. And then the foil only sticks to the areas that have the adhesive HTV on them. So you don't need to cut it. You don't need to put it in your Cricut at all. You just cut the Easyweed HTV, which cuts on the same settings as Easyweed. So I'll go ahead and pull off my carrier sheet. I'll set that aside and then I'll readjust the shirt because it got a little sticky. All right. And then I'll go ahead and cut a piece of foil that is big enough for the whole thing. I was able to end up getting the whole piece of Easyweed HTV or adhesive HTV on the platen. Maybe it's just a little bit under 15 inches because there's just a little bit of room to spare, but we made it. I'm also gonna cut off this end piece because I don't want any of that sticker. There's like a sticker that keeps it closed. I don't want any of that to get stuck to my shirt. All right. So once we cut that part off, I'll go ahead and measure a nice big piece. And it's a little bit sticky, but it's not gonna actually stick to the foil until we press it. So you don't have to measure too closely. Just as long as it covers it, that's plenty. Okay, so I'm just gonna make sure that the foil is covering all the way at the very tip top, even maybe hanging over a little bit. And then it covers at the bottom. And then we're gonna press both of these together at 305 degrees for 15 seconds. And I do have my press turned up to medium to firm pressure. If you didn't do it with the Easyweed Adhesive HTV, make sure you do it with the foil because it's essential to getting a good press. I also like to lower my press kind of slowly when I'm pushing it down because I don't want the foil to move. So that way, like, you know what I mean? If I push the handle really fast and it puts down a burst of air, I don't want it to wiggle my foil around. So I kind of take it kind of slow and push it down. Yeah, it is super easy, Irma. You'd be surprised. Kathy wants to know what color it is. Oh, hold on. So we'll raise up the heat press. And now we have to wait. One of the most difficult parts of the working with the foils is that it must be completely cool to the touch. I'm gonna go ahead and turn the heat press off. It must be completely cool to the touch before we rip the foil off. So one of the things that helps is here in a minute, I'll go put it back on the table so that we get it off the bottom platen pad that likes to retain lots of heat. But it has to be completely cool before we pull it off. But you guys have some questions. So Kathy, when you say what color is it or does that matter? This is Caesar Easyweed Adhesive HTV. So it's a specific type of Easyweed, if that makes sense. So there's no color choices there. It's just adhesive HTV. And then you can use any of the Starcraft foil colors and that doesn't matter over top the adhesive HTV. Irma said, sounds easy. It really is, Irma. And I think what a lot of people are intimidated by is they're intimidated by the fact that it's multiple steps. We call it like a two-step foil, but it's really not hard to use. You just have to get some practice in. I've definitely made lots of shirts that have like the distressed look to it. And sometimes you can do that on purpose and it looks really cool. It just takes a little bit of practice and getting a feel for it, pretty much like any other craft, but it's really, really not hard. Yep, Angela said it really is easy and so many possibilities. I know, it's so good. Angela said if you peel the sticker off that piece, you can use that to keep the roll from unraveling and know what color name it is. Yes, I do the same thing, Angela. I like to keep this piece, and when I'm storing my rolls of foil, I do like kind of stick it back on the end. So if this is the end right here, I'll put it like this. That way, when I look back at all my stuff, I know what color to order again if I need some more. And they actually come in really big, rolls. The rolls are like 25 feet, I think. Yeah, it says that, 25 feet. And so I like to go ahead and buy a whole 5-yard roll of the Easyweed Adhesive HTV. That way I always know that I have enough. You don't have to do that. You can also buy it by the sheet as well. But since you're gonna have so much foil, I just went ahead and bought a 5-yard roll so that I make sure I have enough. Okay, so I'm gonna transition back over to my table. So if you guys will give me just a second, I'm gonna move everything back over and then we'll wait until this is cool before I pull this off. All right. And go ahead and grab this and move back over to my table. All right, hello guys, we're back. We didn't have any technical issues. Fingers crossed, knock on wood. I think someone just rang my doorbell, but we're gonna ignore that. And we're back, and now all we're gonna do is wait for the foil to cool. And once the foil does cool, we want to rip it off like a Band-Aid. Make sure that we rip it off nice and fast. But yeah, we've done everything that we can do to have a really good press. So now all we do is wait. So what other questions do you guys have about either using Starcraft foil or using the heat press? Let me know what you want to know in the comments and I will give you all the tea. Because because I've been using this press for a long time. So I feel like I've had some good enough experience that I can really give you my opinion. Roseanne wants to know, does the bottom of the heat pad slide forward? No, Roseanne, it does not. And typically, I don't think that they do on on clamshell heat presses, the style that this is. A lot of times when the pad slides out, that's typically on a swing away heat press. It does on the Starcraft one. I don't even think it's on the 143 site anymore. But the big 16 by 20 press, it does slide out. But the first two do not. Crazy Kitty says, I think what's intimidating to me is all the products out there for crafting. I just bought a Cricut maker and it came in a bundle and I'm still confused what to do with all the products out there. I totally understand. That makes complete sense. And it can be really overwhelming. And in fact, if you have like adult ADD, like I sort of do, it can definitely be crazy because you're always seeing all these new things and you're like, wait, am I supposed to do that? Wait, am I supposed to do that? It can be nuts. But basically, you just kind of start with what you want to be working on and you just try one new thing at a time, and you don't have to buy everything at once. Even though like I'm telling you guys about sales all the time and stuff like that, you don't have to buy it right then and there. There's never any pressure to do that. You just kind of see something and you take the next step and you want to try something else. Then you nail another project and you want to try something else. So take it nice and slow. Don't feel like you have to do everything all at once because it can be super intimidating. And if you need help with that, I don't know what your what your name is. I'm guessing it's not really Crazy Kitty, but Crazy Kitty, if you'd like to join my Facebook group, we can certainly help you figure out what those materials are and what to do with them, because I know especially when you get your machine, you have no idea what the difference is between those products, but I promise once you figure out what to use with each of them, it won't be any issue at all. Oh, yes, Kayla just brought up an amazing point. Kayla said, I have small kids, so I decided on the clamshell. I was too nervous with the swing away falling on them. My kids aren't supposed to be in my craft room, but sometimes they sneak in. Yes, Kayla and I talked about this. So one thing that I have learned about swing aways, including this is true about any kind of swing away style heat press. Because the top upper platen that gets hot swings away, it's not super well balanced. So even with the suction cups on the bottom of the turquoise heat press, I think that helps more than most. But when you swing the platen off to the side, since they're kind of split, it does become a little bit unstable. So if you have small kids, in my opinion, I would go with the clamshell because there's just more stability with it. But that's just a personal choice and something that I remember when Kayla was getting her heat press, she and I talked about kind of weighing those risks. Because I know especially if you have small kiddos or kitty cats or anything that kind of gets around your heat press or may get around your heat press, that can definitely be a risk. Okay. Crazy Kitty's name is Kim. Welcome, Kim. I'm glad that you're here, and I'll drop a link for you to my Facebook group. Okay, we're almost ready, you guys. So the way that you know that the foil is ready is when you can feel that it's cool to the touch. Like it literally should feel cool to you when you start touching it, which I know can be really, really tempting. And a lot of times there are two main things that happen when you get a distressed look on your foil. Typically that means you either didn't use enough pressure on it or you pulled off the foil before it was completely cool. And I know it's really, really tempting, but I promise it's so much better if you just wait. Oh, yes. Thank you, Kayla. Oh, thanks, Angela. You're so sweet. Yeah, I will drop those links for you guys. I also have them in the description of this video if you're watching the replay. I'll drop the link first for our general crafting group. So I have two groups now. I had one just for wedding crafts, but I also have one for kind of just general Cricut crafts, not in a bad way, but like non-wedding ones. And then I also have a group if you are planning a wedding or helping someone plan a wedding, like, you know, your daughter or son is getting married or something. I have a wedding craft group too. So there you go. All right, guys, are you ready for the big reveal of this pineapple? I am so excited. And I feel like I don't really ever talk about this, but like anyone else, I get like nervous to peel off my foil. I'm like, is it ready? Is it going to be good? Is my press going to be good? Because I have, like I said, I've had lots of foil projects not turn out, which is why I know that it may be a little intimidating if you buy a whole roll of the Starcraft foil, because it does come with 25 feet, and that's a lot. But honestly, you can end up using a lot if you don't get your projects perfectly every time. So I think it's a good thing that it comes with a lot. Thank you so much, Kayla. Kayla is awesome. Kayla is one of the moderators in our group as well. She's always a huge help. She's on, I tell her she's on little team DIY Alex, because DIY Alex is a very small team. Just me and a few others that do all the things around here. You get nervous too, Irma. I do too. I'm like, oh, I hope this is good. And I have to keep my cool, you know, because I'm on YouTube with all you guys. But the reality is that I'm nervous every time I peel off my foil. All right, guys, I'm going to scoot my shirt back a little so you can watch me. Well, okay. I'm gonna pull it from the bottom so you guys can watch me pull it off, okay? Because one of the keys is not to peel slowly. You want to rip it off like a Band-Aid and make sure that you do that quickly, okay? So you guys ready to see this project? Are you ready? Let me know in the comments and then I'll pull it. Hopefully it turns out as well as this butterfly did. Let me know. I know there's a little bit of a lag, so you guys are probably typing it to me right now and I probably can't see it. You're welcome, Kayla, of course. What do you guys think? You ready? I know you're ready. I don't know why I do that. All right, we're ripping this foil, okay? So we'll just do it before I chicken out. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. Ah! It looks so good. See, you guys, and I got a little bit of distressing too, so I didn't do something perfectly. I'm gonna take some of the foil out. So I'll try to show you guys as much as I can. So because the center of this is cut out, some of the Aloha Summer around the words has some extra foil. So you can just kind of scratch that away because there's no adhesive to stick there. So the foil's not gonna stay. That's just because I had a cutout in the middle of my foil. And I have some distressing up here at the top, so maybe it wasn't all the way ready, but I don't know. I thought I did pretty well, but hey, it's not, not always a perfect science, but I think it turned out really well. What do you guys think? It's super shiny. And I love this tie-dye foil. I didn't have any of the tie-dye foil before. That's why I bought some. And I wanted to see what it looked like. And I'm pretty much obsessed. Oh, thanks, guys. So I noticed one thing that happened with this one is when I pressed it toward the top, the tag from the shirt got in the way. And I wonder if that messed up some of the pressure. Do you guys see a little bit of the distressing up there at the top? So it still looks good, and I really like the way that it turned out, but it's not as perfect as I'd like it to be. Who knows why? See, I'm not always perfect either, and that's why you need 25 feet. Because just in case. But it turned out super fun. I definitely wanted to make sure that I carefully chose a color that you would be able to see. Because the foil is so sparkly, I was worried that if I didn't pick a really contrasting color, you wouldn't be able to read the Aloha Summer in the middle. So since there was like a light silver in all the way out throughout this one, that's why I picked a dark gray for it to go on. But it turned out so fun. See, I've convinced Kayla. It turned out so fun though. Oh, thanks, Angela. This is the blue rainbow holographic, I believe is what it's called. Do you guys want to see the other colors of foil that I have? I have quite a few, and exactly, Irma said practice makes perfect. Right, Irma, exactly. I have several colors of foil, so let me go and grab these, and that way I can show you guys what they look like in case you want to order them on the website, because I always know the colors are hard to choose. So hang tight, I'll be right back. Dropping them all over the place. Okay, so here's the other colors of foil that I have in case you guys want to grab these too. And I may have to look up the names for you actually on the website. because it's been I bought a lot of these a long time ago. So this is the blue holographic rainbow. This is what is on my butterfly shirt. And I have to say, this is my favorite one so far of the ones I have, because I hadn't tried the tie-dye one yet, but these holographic colors are literally amazing. And then I bought finally some of the roses. I had used the rose pattern at work before when I worked at 143, but I didn't have any myself. So I bought it. You guys, look how fun this is. Like, how beautiful is that? And another reason why I liked this pineapple design for the tie-dye is because the top of it is so solid. I knew it would show off the pattern really, really well. Another reason, in case you guys needed another sales pitch, another reason why I like the foil is because it feels really soft on the shirt. If you guys have ever used like materials like holographic HTV and stuff like that, it can kind of feel kind of thick, especially with designs that have like this much surface area. So I really like using the foils because you'd be really surprised. They feel super, super soft on your shirt. So that's another reason why I like working with them over some of the other options. But I picked this design because of all this surface area up here. I knew you'd be able to see the tie-dye pattern really, really well. Okay, so we already talked about roses, and then I have light rose as well, which is just like a really pretty pink color. If you're a pink person like me, I love this one. Oh, and I love, oh my gosh, what's this one called? I love this one too. Let me hop on 143 on my computer, and I'll try to tell you guys what this color is called, because I also have all of these. As you can see, I love the foil. Let me see. I'll look up the category on the website and we'll try to figure out what they're called in case you want to order them. Okay. What is this bright pink called? And we released a lot of these while I worked there. So I remember releasing this color. It's not just pink. This one is matte fuchsia. Matte fuchsia is what this is called. In fact, I'll drop the links in the comments for you guys. In case you want to come back to this live if you need it. So this one is matte. I always want to spell fuchsia wrong. There's a C in it. F-U-C-H. Okay. F-U-C-H-S-I-A. There's that one. Yes, Angela, you can use more than one color in a design. It is tricky, but it can totally be done. It can totally be done. Absolutely. I've done it myself many, many times. Okay, and then let's try to figure out which one this purple one is. Here's, I'll drop the roses for you guys in the comments too. Here's the roses. All right, let's look at this purple because I love this purple. And I feel like it might just be, it's not the violet, it's different. Which one? Like we were talking about, Angela was saying saving the sticker. That's why it's so helpful to save the sticker, because then you can remember what all the colors you ordered. I think this one is amethyst. Yeah. It's amethyst. One of like the more plain color purples. Did I spell that right? Nope. YouTube says no. There we go. Amethyst. Okay. That's what the purple color name is called. Hey, Markia. She said, hi, Alex. Can't believe Starcraft is back in stock finally. I know. That's why, in case you guys have not been following around for very long, it is a very big deal that the Starcraft heat press is in stock, because this does not happen very often. And I know they do have a large amount of them, but there's a lot of people that have been waiting for a long time to buy the press. That's why, yeah, Markia, I know what you mean. Yeah, that's why it's such a big deal. So if you're new around here, I promise this is like a holiday for crafters. It's a massive deal. All right, and then we've got two more colors to identify. I've got this orange. Which one is it? I want to say, is it pumpkin? Maybe? Terracotta? That doesn't sound right, but maybe it is. These other colors up here. No, it is pumpkin. Yep, I was right. Yep, I remember pumpkin. because, I mean, if you love fall like me, how could you not remember pumpkin? The orange is pumpkin. And then this brown does not have a very exciting name, but I really liked these fall colors together. I remember, so we had a ton of colors to launch, and for a little while there while I worked at 143, it felt like all we did every week was launch like 4 or 5 colors of the foil. It was crazy. Oh my gosh, we launched so many. And I used to be really, really good at naming them all, but now that I'm not around them as often, I don't think, but I think, okay, yep, this one is bronze because that name doesn't really make a lot of sense to me, but this is bronze. So those are all the colors of, oh, and I'll, the color I used today, I'll link that one too. Where did you go? Some of the other tie-dyes I was not a huge fan of, but I really liked this pink and orange one because I thought it would be fun. So there you have it. That's all of my Starcraft mint, nope. All of my Starcraft foil colors. I think I forgot to link, oh shoot guys. I forgot the blue and the rose. So let me grab those for you too. Sorry, I forgot. Okay. Not seafoam. Yep. It's the blue holographic rainbow. Has kind of a funky name. I'm going to put the butterfly shirt was blue holographic rainbow. And last but not least is the rose, right? Or light rose. Light rose. And a lot of the colors are really similar. And so I bet you guys have probably tried to shop foil before and you're like, wait a minute, these all look really, really close together. So I totally understand if that has intimidated you, because the only reason that that doesn't bother me is because I've seen them all in person. Because they are very, very close together. Okay. I think that really is it. I'll go ahead and link the Easyweed adhesive as well. This is all in the foil category, so if you guys go look at all of the different foil options, all of this is linked straight from the category. But I recommend the 5-yard roll of Caesar Easyweed adhesive so that you have enough to oh my gosh, come on brain. So that you have enough to use on your whole roll, because this is 25 feet, and so unless you get enough Easyweed adhesive HTV, you won't be able to use it without the adhesive. So make sure you get plenty of adhesive just to make sure that you can use all the colors and all the things. So I have a big 5-yard roll that I use, and then I have like almost like a roll of like scrap Easyweed adhesive because I've cut a bunch of pieces off of it. So I'll give you guys another minute to ask any questions that you have or anything like that, and then I think I am going to hop off of here. But I hope we were able to answer some of your questions too about the heat press. If you were on the fence about it or unsure about it, I hope I was able to at least answer some questions if you're thinking about it. And the other thing I wanted to say is I don't know how long these are going to last. You know, normally with sales and stuff like that, I can tell you how long you have. But with these, it just depends on how long it takes for them to sell out. Like I said earlier, they have quite a bit more than they usually do, but there's no guarantee that those will last for any given amount of time. So it's totally up to the customers and what you guys end up deciding to buy. Angela said she has 2 greens, 2 reds, 3 blues, black, white, matte, gold, silver, and rainbow. Yeah, Angela, I know. I could probably be a collector of foils. If I'm not careful, I will end up with all of them. And there's like, oh my gosh, like 80. I want to say like 80 different colors. Does that sound right? Sounds like a lot, but yeah, I mean, there's a ton of them. So there's a ton of color options. Some of the really, really cool ones are the pixie dust colors. They have them in gold and silver, and they look just like Starcraft Magic Deceit. Like, I don't know if they did that on purpose, but it looks just like the Deceit colors. It's super, super sparkly and rainbowy, but it's not as thick as some of the other materials. So that's another reason, like I said, why I love using foils, because they're super soft on your shirt. They don't feel heavy. They don't feel plasticky. especially with designs like this pineapple. Like if you used holographic on a pineapple like this, it would end up feeling kind of, you know, thick on your shirt. So you don't have to worry about that with foils, which I absolutely love. And it's surprising. You wouldn't think that that's the way that it turns out, but it totally does. All right, guys, well, I'm not really seeing a lot of other questions, so I think I'm going to go ahead and jump off of here. But as always, if you have any questions, make sure that you drop them in the comments because I'm happy to come back and answer those, even if you're watching them on the replay. Angela says you can't have too many craft supplies. Never, ever, Angela. I will never, ever tell you that you have too many, or very, very rarely. It would have to be a very serious situation for me to tell you that you have enough. Because I'm the same way with all of mine. Like, all my vinyl racks are full, y'all. Clearly, I am under the same spell as all of you with wanting to buy it all. But anyways, if you haven't already, please make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to DIY Alex if you haven't already. That way you can get notified about all the other shenanigans and weekly videos. I normally have a weekly video every Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern time, but I like to do lives like this and other bonus stuff too. So it's not always just one premiere a week, but there will always be at least one new video every single week. So thank you, Crafty fam, for hanging out with me.